Bang! It's Monday. Too much dip. Welcome. I'm David. I'm going to host today. Joining me in the studio, filling in for the potentially under the weather Dylan Shaviri, it's one Brett Merriman.
Thank you for having me, Dave. Happy to come in from the bullpen.
Yeah, you did come in from the bullpen, didn't you?
Coming in from the bullpen. Happy to talk sports as always. You know I love doing this, Dave.
Yeah, we know.
So extremely aged to get my takes out there.
This guy's got takes, folks.
And excited to be here. Thank you for having me. On the eve of a lottery win, of course.
That's right. We've spent the last 45 minutes. What like the lowest form of office banter is talking about what you do if you want. Yeah.
Hey, Chris, would you still come in tomorrow?
Yeah. Oh, you never see me again. That's not true. I would commit to stump.
Let the people dream. It's a good topic.
Well, we did
I
it.
need y'all poo-pooing on what people chat about.
Okay. Here's a guy who's just itching to get back into an office. It's KJ.
That's quite that. You know, that's not far from the truth. However, I happen to live and work in an area that is somewhat landlocked by the location of my other employer and two large lakes. And having parking and space is just not an option. So people are like, "Hey, love it if you're around more." I'm like, "Meh,
yeah." Can we get a temp?
There's no room.
Can we get a temp check, KJ?
Temp check today. I am embracing, not so much with my long sleeves today, but embracing what seemed to be the last 2 80-degree days on horizon for us here in Madison, Wisconsin. 82 today, 84 tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Got 56 on the horizon for Saturday.
Damn.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
We did this kicking off circling back today where I just looked at the 5-day and this weekend here looks great. If you're coming into town for ACL, you're going to have a good time. Other than the things at ACL that make you not have a good time, like the prices, how sore your calves will be.
Potential mud situation too.
A little bit of mud, but maybe that'll keep the dirt down, like the dirt in your boogers and snot for the next 2 weeks. That's gross, but it has happened. KJ, how you doing, man?
That is a little bit of a dad move there, just being fully comfortable with boogers and snot. Like not so much like the actual things, which I'm sure you are.
The concept.
But just throwing those words out freely.
Yeah.
I miss ACL. Kind of makes me sad. As my birthday is mañana. ACL always lands right thereabouts. So when I lived in town, it was kind of like, all right, this is what I will do.
KJCL. I like that.
Exactly.
Hey, let us be the first to wish you a happy birthday a day early. 35?
Thank you. 35 plus 2. And I respect it.
Happy birthday, KJ.
Thank you. I would like to say that I'm looking ahead just on personal calendar. I've got a trip to Kansas City coming up for a wedding next week.
Ooh, get the barbecue.
And Kansas City looks to be, not that far off from what I'm having here. So I don't even feel like I'm like stretching out, hey, good weather portion of the season. Looks to be like 70s or so next week. So we shall see. I don't know how much time I will have in town. I'm doing something, others doubt it could happen. I'm doing the connecting in Dallas, dropping off the kids to stay there with their grandparents, and then flying up to Kansas City, retrieving them on the way back up. We'll see how this is executed, as DFW is a pain in the ass to like get out of if you're not directly going to an Uber or directly to like your car and leaving the premises. If you're screwing with a rental car or anything like that, like it becomes a pain in the ass. So we'll see how we pull it off. But it should be a good little experience.
Yeah, 9/11 changed everything.
Is it like do you have a layover or is it two separate flights? Like, do you have to recheck in?
Because there are children on the itinerary, one of which would be a lap child. Like you can't just drop them mid itinerary.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure I could have called through AA and just done all one on a layover. But we ended up doing two separate tickets to make it happen. So we'll see how the experience is.
I don't hate that. I think you'll be all right, KJ. DFW, AA Hub. If you were getting creative with it on like Allegiant or Spirit, I'd be more concerned. But no, I think you'll be in good shape.
Hey, as long as you're here Thursday evening for the live stream.
Oh yeah, this flight's not until next week, and I will be here and in front of the screen.
Get Meet Mitch barbecue up in KC. George Brett's outfit. Very good burnt ends.
Okay.
Serious.
Will you crap your pants like George Brett?
No. You could probably use the barbecue sauce as pine tar, though, famously.
Okay. That plays. I thought you were going a different direction, but yeah, that plays. Hey, by the way, the aforementioned live stream, we got Eddie Radosevich on. You might know that name.
He's kind of blowing up.
Noted OU beat writer, blogger, podcaster, just content guy. OU content guy is what I'll call him. I know he's we'll give him a better introduction with his like actual show on Thursday, but we had him on last year. He's always electric, and it is Texas OU weekend. Or as I like to say, the Red River Shootout, because I still call it that, you know, because I clearly don't care about gun violence. So I call it the Red River Shootout because that's just how I was raised, man.
You were saying British Open too, like yesterday.
I was, man. I just love this country so much. But he'll be great. And hopefully Dylan will be back by then and they'll have it out. We got 2 undefeated teams. That's going to be fun. KJ, you got some shouts for some listeners here?
I do. As I've mentioned to many folks here on the show, we've thrown it out on socials. We'll probably continue to promote it as we get things nailed down, but we've opened up dip picks to allowing the listeners to participate as well. This is not directly tied to any spawn. It's just merely as I'm tracking the picks for us, collecting them via Google Forms. Might as well share that out with the listeners to see if anyone performs above the Mendoza line, if you will. I'll be quick to say big boy stacks are saving my ass personally this year because I am like sub 27% on the year for my overall picks on the year. It's terrible. But we did have 2 different gentlemen, presumably so, have a perfect week. Go 7-0 in week 3 of dip picks. I haven't verified all of the listener picks for this week. I'll confirm that by Thursday. I don't ask for. I struggled with how to word it, asking for a Twitter handle, felt real gamer taggy, or a way to reference someone publicly. I don't want to dox somebody by saying, the name tied to their email, which is only required to do the form. But shout out to Daniel R and Ty G for going 3-0.
Sheesh.
Or I'm sorry, 7-0 in week 3 of dip picks, because amongst the hosts, none of us have done that in 3.5 years of picking.
Let me say, if you are looking for that form, I'm going to put a link to it in the show notes of this particular podcast. I need to do a better job of promoting that. But yeah, it is fun to see how we stack up against the listeners. And might have hit my big boy stack this week. Kind of saved me.
I'll add it to the Twitter bio or the X bio. The link will be there as well.
And we might even Zeet it. We may Zeet it if we want to. But shout out to you, Daniel R and Ty G. Do you want to kick off the Ryder Cup? Let's just
talk sports.
KJ is champing at the bit. I know he is. No one gets as pumped up for the Ryder Cup as KJ. Loves 4-ball, loves foursomes. Initial thoughts, KJ, as a casual observer of the game of golf.
I really just don't want y'all to spoil the results for me. I'm still watching some of the day 3 coverage on replay, as has been the case for the last 3 days on my timeline. Just couldn't ask for more, but anything to have a coffee and some Ryder Cup golf on my television each morning as I woke up before the children did. Kidding aside, the most embarrassing performance, I don't know how it measures historically. I'm sure you'll share that to us, but going into this with some assumption that things might be competitive, if not minorly entertaining, all of the drama was over some dumb bullshit, and golf really, really took the L on the weekend. Everybody lost. Not even Everybody lost. Rory made sure that was the case for the Europeans. Patrick Cantlay, I would say, if anything, came away like somewhat respectable, being he picked up his game late in the weekend. But like, as somebody who didn't go into it knowing what the hell was going to happen, it sucked. That's my take.
Okay, that's fair. I think you could argue that both sides, big both sides guy right here,
Middleman Dave.
yeah, both sides looked bad at certain points. Just on a competitive level, to come out Friday as flat as USA did, and to get absolutely boat raced, to get swept in the morning, and then to have a chance to claw back into it and to, lose half a point on 18 in multiple matches in like gutting fashion, like long putts, just electric putts. You knew then that like, okay, they're going to have to do something historic. And I will give them credit for making it interesting, but this thing never really had a shot.
They lost the Ryder Cup on day one, which it started off interesting because it was a very online Ryder Cup with the commercial loads being discussed ad nauseum.
Dude,
NBC, they did whiff on this, but their whole excuse is like, we front load these events because nobody's usually watching Thursday, Friday, so Sunday we have less commercials. It doesn't make sense with the Ryder Cup though when there's so few balls in play that basically every round played is like a final round and very important. So I thought that was that's interesting to kick it off. And then it went into the Europeans are a team and the Americans are not. Bottom line. The Americans are filled with a bunch of golf fucking nerds.
Yeah.
And the Europeans have guys that look like they're on a buddies trip. Like that from the
Great
moment
call.
You saw those teams interacting, and then no offense to Ziege and Furyk and all the kind of the heads of state.
Feel free to insult Ziege.
I mean he was a listless, lifeless, rudderless leader this weekend.
Who would have thought Ziege would not bring the fuego takes, the heat when he got on the mic? Yeah, that's interesting you say that. Just going into the event, 9 of the 12 players on Team USA had not played in, was it like 4 or 5 weeks?
Mm-hmm.
Like had not played an event, whereas Europe was the opposite. Most of their guys had been playing, so they looked in form. You come in the first day, and that's probably a big part of why you dominated Friday. Then you have like the Zach Johnson alluding to there being like an illness going around, says the sniffles. And it's like, dude, let that come out after the fact. That looks so weak. I don't know how much you can really rah-rah motivate your guys, bulletin board material, locker room stuff to go play golf. But it just seemed like just a really odd thing to do.
A very disjointed effort. I mean, you have Jordan Spieth having a kid. Like, not a ton you can do about that.
Koepka too.
Koepka, you have a live guy that you introduced. Like, I think Koepka's tailor made for these events. I'd have him on the team every single time, live or not. But then you have a guy like Sam Burns, who probably has played his last Ryder Cup. Uninspiring. You talked about JT being a glue guy, and then there's no real glue to keep together because the team is just so lame. And Brooks doesn't want to be there. Cantley and Schauffele and the nerd contingent. It's just like, and then you have Scotty, who's just can't putt.
Was he crying?
Yeah.
Because they got absolutely boat raced.
Yes. And it's just like
historically bad beatdown.
It was, you know what it felt like? It felt like a buddy's trip or a bachelor party that doesn't have like those guys that sort of everybody looks to as a leader. There's like a guy that leads the Uber charge or the steakhouse charge or the golf course. Like, he's a glue guy.
It was KJ on Dylan's.
There you go. But it looked like a team that just kind of looking around for somebody else to step up.
That's a great way to put it. KJ, your thoughts?
I was going to ask regarding the team concept aspect in here, and I think Brett just won me on this, but I feel like it's the mental part of it, of like being dialed in. The part about players not having played in recent weeks, like, is there a captain that could have changed that outcome? Like, is there a situation in which they could have been willed or motivated to have played in tournaments in the recent 4 to 5 weeks?
Yeah. Zach Johnson chose the hands-off approach. Mm-hmm. And there's been captains in the past that they would have, been like, I want my guys playing as much as possible.
Yeah.
Zach Johnson didn't
or
do that.
have chosen the team based on play, like guys who were willing to play within those weeks. Correct?
Yes, yeah, because captain's picks were what, 3 weeks, month ago.
Yeah, something month, 6 weeks ago in that neighborhood. Yeah.
But yes, that is something that could have been dealt with.
Got it. Because I feel like that's a tangible thing. I think the camaraderie part, like that's an immediate narrative tied to the Ryder Cup almost every Ryder Cup in one way or the other. And it's always, I feel like, slanted a little bit in Europe's favor. But at the same note, like, I think that golf is such that the guys still have the opportunity to perform individually and the rest of the success will come. Now, when they're not, I think that Liv has done a great job about talking about the benefits of team golf. Like you're having a guy who's not seeing a line or seeing something properly or is in his head. You've got another guy who's right beside you or behind you who's like, adding to your benefit. I don't know if that's what's being missed in the Ryder Cup again. I'm not going to claim to know, but at the end of the day, everybody lost here, in my opinion, when we saw the Fitz. That was an L, and I think we all accepted it. When we saw all of the social media content that was being put out outside of Giada de Laurentiis, like everything else was pretty spare. And then
Need to go back
we
and watch
get
that.
to the end of the weekend. Not even the end of the weekend. I guess the celebration on 18 happened on Saturday, correct? When the U.S. started coming together a little bit.
Yes, that was the Cantlay, drain that long putt to keep them relatively in it.
That was the only time there was any fire right there.
Yeah.
And weird that Cantlay provided it, especially in light of like the tweets that had been flying around about hat.
Like he was the one being pointed out. Yeah. Being pointed out to being hosed the whole weekend. And then, he defends himself.
Yeah. He was getting shit on by the crowd. And that's usually how that goes that's the person who has the opportunity to kind of take a Mike McCarthyism, a mojo moment, KJ. And
Ian Poulter moment.
Yes, exactly. And to his credit, he took it. And then Joe LaCava just went sicko mode.
Yeah, LaCava was the only one. I mean, it shouldn't take the European fans to like fire up a Ryder Cup team that you're once every 2 years are representing your country. But thank God it did, or else we lose that by 15 and not 10.
Your caddy, the 50-year-old caddy, should not be the most electric person in the room.
Correct. And I mean, he did stand there for way too long.
He was in the wrong,
right?
But it's not that big of a deal.
But he's like, this is purely hypothetical. He's the only one. He's like doing it on purpose. Maybe Tiger touched him. He's like, hey, fuck with Rory a little bit because otherwise we're going to get boat raced. And so Joe LaCava, to his credit, is like, who fucking cares if I stand in Rory's line for too long? and it provided some sort of spark for this team.
Yeah, I'm just happy Rory and Shane Lowry and Rosie, Justin Rose, were able to get past that. Like, I don't know if they had to talk to like a team counselor or something, but it seems like it really hurt the Team Europe, and they used it as fuel.
Yeah, Rory went all sports psychologist, and Lowry is the perfect Ryder Cup. Like, I want Lowry in my corner for a bar fight, a golf tournament, a podcast, a beer.
He's that dude.
That dude. Just that dude. And the U.S. has nobody like that.
No, that's a great point.
And it's not because he's big, right? Like, it's just...
KJ. All right, I want to get KJ's take. Who are the two best hangs on Team Europe or Team USA? And I can give you mine if you want me to name some players.
6 years removed from Ricky Fowler's probably still got it in him. And Justin, maybe, JT, maybe, I would say. Maybe not hangs, but like, again, I don't know. Those would be my default picks. For Europe, Shane Lowry, I think, is a tremendous pick. I'm not even going to act like I know the full roster.
Victor Hovland.
Maybe.
But
Vic. Yeah, I'm sorry. Vic,
you could go Vic. For me, it's Tommy and Shane.
He's proven that.
Okay, Tommy Fleetwood, probably a great hang. Shane Lowry, great hang. Victor Hovland, I would pay money. If I won the lottery, I would probably just like follow him around and weird him out until he gave me a restraining order.
Tyrrell Hatton can drink.
Oh, Tyrrell Hatton.
I mean, think of all those guys, and that's not even including like Rahm and Rory, who are obviously incredible golfers, and they're just a little more on the golfy competitive science side. And then you have Rosie and Donald, who are like probably ordering the best wine out of anybody there. So you have a team, and then young studs like Abert or a Bear, whatever he goes by now, and Fitzpatrick.
Texas Tech's own.
Yeah, it's very true.
Yeah, Fitzpatrick, he can't have rocking Skechers out at the bar,
Yeah.
but whatever.
But he's like,
He's
he's
like
like
a
the little
quick
brother you
glance.
bring along.
Trying to get a quick glance at ages. Is there a huge age discrepancy? Is the U.S. team like that much older than the European team? Who's the youngest guy on the U.S. team right now?
The European team definitely got
one.
younger because of the live thing. Because they lost Sergio, they lost
Poulter,
Graham McDowell.
Graham
McDowell. Yeah, so I don't know exactly.
Wyndham Clark at 29, Xander at 29.
You could have told me Wyndham Clark was 37 or 26, I believe.
Sam Burns at 27. Okay, so it's not that far off. Colin Morikawa is 26. Okay. So it's
about
not that
age.
Far. Fucking Scotty Scheffler's 27.
Yeah.
That's the most 38-year-old looking 27-year-old I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Like he's got 4 dogs and 2 King Charles Cavaliers. I'm positive.
And a very nice wife. Shouts to Meredith.
Gosh.
You're just
I
name
know I saw him
dropping
on full swing. So
how do you know his wife?
yeah, that's weird.
Past friend.
Okay.
No, I don't know his wife. I know somebody who knows his wife.
Okay. No, I like the idea of having like your nucleus of guys going into 2 years from now. At what, Bethpage, and then you just captain's picks have to be just dudes with a high chill to pull ratio,
like Deej.
Deej, give me I mean, yeah, I'm struggling to say I would want to hang out with DJ. Maybe old DJ when shit might get really off the rails, like completely derail both of our lives.
Why not? DJ, I want put DJ in the South Shore for a week.
Oh my God.
Or they go like Hamptons to Ryder Cup kind of situation.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Give me a Fred Couples led team with Kat on the assistant kind of job. Keep Furyk. Get somebody, just get like a grease ball in there, like a Kisner or like a Phil, if you really want to get greasy. And maybe he's like off the back down the reservation by then. Yeah, and then you go DJ, you keep Brooks, see where Homa's at.
Homa's on my team going forward. Homa's a dog.
Get Cam Young in the mix. He drives the ball straighter than anybody. He's never going to lose a ball in the 4-ball situation or whatever the alternate shot one's called. I don't know. The names don't make sense.
A foursome.
Yeah. I get Tony back in there. He's talented. I don't know. This is all obviously.
If we're talking about glue guys, I'm not saying going to dominate in this setting, but like Tony, there's nobody that I would want in a room more than Tony Finau. Like
I love that take. You just
and
need
most
more.
Of his family.
This becomes such a team event that you need more than guys. Like think of all the loners they have on this team. Clark, Cantley, like they all have their one buddy, like Morikawa or Schauffele, whoever Cantley's guy is.
Schauffele.
Burns and Scheffler are like boys, but they all kind of like just do their own shit. Besides Ricky, Jordan, and JT. Yeah, it's a bunch of cliques, right? You need some sort of uniting force.
That's how it feels. I got to say, before we move on, if the worst experience consuming sports is trying to watch on your phone and they hit you with a playing through, and you're like, dude, this is so pointless. Like I am wasting battery in these 2 minutes. I can't see anything. I don't know where the ball is. I can't even tell who's hitting. It's such shit. Playing through. Whoever invented playing through is got a special place for them.
It's the networks, Dave, because they can say, "Oh, you still got action. Like you still can watch."
We should.
Yeah.
And dude, there was like an hour where they didn't show any JT and Jordan. Like it was a gettable match Saturday, and I was like, dude, they haven't showed a shot. What is this?
It felt like the producers, much like the Solheim Cup last weekend that I know KJ watched 100% of.
Love my women.
It was like somebody was doing the Ryder Cup in the truck that didn't know golf. They just were like, oh, well, as long as we get the final putt, we're good.
Yeah.
And it's like, no. You need context.
All right. Well, shout out to Europe.
One last ad. One recommendation to really actually make this event worth watching for me. I don't know that I don't need a pro-am. I despise like attempts to make pro-ams cool. Everything looks like the Live Chicago event to me. But you could convince me to have like 2 celebrity slots or whatever in addition to the captain's picks. I need J.R. Smith, and I don't know, anybody else out there.
So you need a non-golf athlete from both Europe and the United States.
It doesn't even have to be a non-golf athlete. I just think the U.S. spots should go to either Steph Curry, who I don't want to see on TV, or J.R. Smith, who I definitely want to see on TV.
KJ, you need to tune into the what's the July tournament in Lake Tahoe?
Oh yeah,
where Pavs wins it every year.
Yeah, those are fun. Those are fun.
It's like a pro-am, but it's more famous, more competitive, more competitive. Yeah.
No, I like that. Like before, like do it like the day before. You have like
I want them all there the whole time.
You want them in the mix, in the weeds with the boys.
Yes, I will call it the KJ spot as we're doing like Dylan's bachelor party scramble. Like somebody who's not really going to contribute much, but they got to be there. So again, the J.R. Smith seat.
Well, I just want video of J.R. Smith and Zach Johnson communicating.
So you see that Iowa football team?
Oh yeah, scoring points, huh? That's not how he talks.
J.R. Smith's like, nah, dude.
Yeah, no, I missed that, Zach. All right, guys, it's time for HelloFresh. We got HelloFresh back on board. With HelloFresh, you get farm fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit. A crazy schedule can make it easy to fall back into your dinner time recipe rut. Keep meal times exciting with over 40 recipes to choose from every week, so there's always something delicious to discover with HelloFresh. HelloFresh does all the shopping and meal planning for you. Ingredients arrive at your door, pre-portioned, ready to cook, along with pictured step-by-step recipe cards. How easy is that? We got a little gift box last week of HelloFresh, and I've got to salute Brett. You let him know, like, hey, I could use a family plan. I could use something for the little guy.
You do have a child, famously.
I do have a child. They hit us with these empanadas. Just throw them in the oven. He loved them. My wife loved them. I loved them. I'm going to run that back soon. We also did barbecue pulled pork nachos, which were fantastic. Great game day snacks. I am a big fan of HelloFresh. How about you, Brett?
They've taught me how to become much better in the kitchen, Dave. Just straight up.
You're just a better man.
I'm a better man. Non-spawn, although this part of the show is literally spawned by them. I subscribe to them outside of the complimentary boxes we get.
Really?
Yeah, every week.
I love that about you.
Yeah, they like I'm rocking some smashed black bean tostadas this week. Sesame soy pork bowls.
Oh yeah, the pork bowl's good.
Barbecue ranch chicken flatbreads.
KJ, are you salivating up there?
Oh, not just that, but your boy got a box as well, and it was an absolute game changer. As somebody who's never really embraced the idea of like, maybe I'm a control freak, like handing over the decision making when it comes to dinner time, grocery shopping, all of that. I didn't realize what a life change this was. It took a whole thing off my to-do list this weekend. I had groceries already pre-picked. There wasn't a situation where I forgot an extra ingredient to make dinner or get it out of the way. It was all right there. Came in the bag, like ready to go. I was able to make dinner for Sunday. I was able to make lunches for both today and tomorrow as my wife is out of town. Ooh. This completely changed the stress level in my household.
Huge. Go to HelloFresh. Yes. America's #1 meal kit. Go to HelloFresh.com/50bang. That's 50bang, and use code 50bang for 50% off plus free shipping. Again, that's HelloFresh.com/50bang and use code 50bang for 50% off plus free shipping. America's #1 meal kit, HelloFresh.
Shouts to HelloFresh.
Interesting. I'm looking at the rundown here. It says college football, but there's only one bullet point, which is probably an error on my part, and it just says Ole Miss. So I guess we're going to talk Ole Miss for. I'm going to give you 3 to 5 minutes.
So you don't want to talk about the $19,000 lectern that's currently tearing the Arkansas legislature apart?
Okay.
I'm just saying, Arkansas plays Ole Miss next week. So if you wanted to do that, I'm prepared to do both.
Okay. Well, we may hold that for Eddie Radosevich. You may be filling in for Dylan again Thursday.
Sure. Dave, I'm excited. It's
It's a good game.
The old get off the mat game. The old signature win. People were saying Lane Whiffen last week.
No one was saying that, were they?
I heard it.
Okay.
I heard it. Lane trains back on the tracks, Dave.
Look.
Hell of a game.
It was close. I thought that receiver should have had that ball at the end there.
It was much closer than upon further review. It hit him in the hands.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to mess with you in the group text. I saw that. I was like, oh, because I did on first. I was like, oh, that's just like a jump ball. Got tipped or something. No, he had a legitimate shot at that ball.
There's no doubt about it. Ole Miss. So coming into the game, I was very nervous. If they lose that game, it's come to Jesus. I mean, where is this program going? Where has this program been? Year 4 of Kiffin. It was not going to be. It was not going to be good. You all of a sudden you're out of the West. You're out of the playoffs. You're out of everything. And the expectations for a $9 million a year coach is paid top 10 salary in the country. Should be higher. So, just saying, it was going to be bad if they did not win. They go beat LSU. I'm not sure their defense could stop Duncanville. But they proved to be enough. That LSU offense is phenomenal. LSU's defense might not be able to stop Saratoga Springs.
Yeah.
But they did enough to get it done. Jackson Dart finally has sort of like a signature game. He's been playing extremely well this year. Their offensive line has looked like dog shit. They kind of step up, hold Harold Perkins to no sacks. You know, it finally was a game where they felt put together in the run game. In the pass game, Trey Harris being back and healthy helps immensely. So does Caden Prieskorn. They converted on 4 3rd and 11s, which you probably shouldn't.
That's crazy.
You should probably side on not doing that every week if you can.
Not sustainable.
No, and also a couple 4th downs. I mean, there's a stat. I think it's Lane has gone for the 4th down like 43% of the time since he's been there. That is so many times.
I'm in on that.
I am too, but you're just like, man, if one of those goes the other way, it's gonna game over.
KJ, do you believe that the SEC has taken a step back defensively speaking?
Yeah, 3 or 4 years ago, absolutely. How long's Lane been in the conference?
This is
4 years
year
ago.
4. Yeah.
Or I guess he was in Alabama before that, and they were putting up 50 points on teams in the SEC. So however long ago that was. Kudos to him, to Mike Leach and others for kind of cementing that SEC defenses can have loads of talent all over the field, can be well coached, and can get exposed on offense just because, you know, that's kind of what people want to see, and sometimes shit happens. I think it's a little bit ironic given that Pete Golding, notable not Alvin Kamara photo from the past and previous defensive coordinator from Alabama, was once pulled over for drunk driving and shown on screen as Alvin Kamara by our former producer, is now the D coordinator at Ole Miss. Hyper niche reference that I had to explain every detail.
Was that Adam?
Yes, it just singed into my brain.
Oh, that's great.
Of looking up to the screen to talk about Alvin Kamara, and like Pete Golden couldn't look further from Alvin Kamara.
I think I was on that one too for what I was just like, nope.
Probably not.
So yeah, I think it's ironic they get Alabama's D coordinator, who's produced top 20 defenses. Obviously, Saban has a lot to do with, and this isn't calling him out. It's just saying offenses are good. Brian Kelly's a good offensive mind. They know how to score points. Tremendous win by Ole Miss at home in those circumstances. I don't think the Bama win's going to hurt them too much, except for Bama has questions, and hopefully they don't continue to drop games down the line. Either way, Ole Miss plays Alabama, so Ole Miss could be in the national championship in the playoff for all. Wait, I'm sorry. It plays Georgia.
Yeah.
They played Georgia this year at Georgia. So like Ole Miss has like the pathway to being a top 4 team without question.
The only thing that could trip them up is literally Bama running the table. And if they do that, there's just nothing they can do. I don't think Bama's going to do that, especially with their game this week. I think is the best chance for them to lose at A&M.
I mean, even Ole Miss going 1 loss, not winning their conference, but beating Georgia at Georgia.
Unless
Georgia
have
drops
to be the
multiple
case.
games, like it's not. There's no question about how that'll go down. Okay. Can we talk a little bit about the post game?
Content Central.
I mean,
at the Vaught.
There's just new videos dropping every hour.
Which one do you want to talk about? The security guard, the guy front flipping off the goalpost, or the Ole Miss frat boy getting absolutely chucked by the LSU defensive lineman?
Well, I want to ask the question, like, before they rushed the field, we've seen plenty of examples of students who looked ready and they were going to rush the field, no questions about it. Did any of you notice that, like, there wasn't the same, like, we're sitting, like, they're waiting on the final play, so it's not like people are just waiting for the clock to expire before they rush the field, and it was clear they were going to do it. But there did not seem to be a clear level of commitment by the fans that we're going to rush the field if we win this.
The Ole Miss, the stadium does not very. I mean, you got a pretty good drop, right? You got to be careful at the Vaught. There's a good couple feet, so it doesn't bode to like a mass exodus of the stands. So you got to be careful there. That's probably what limited it. Also, I think it's kind of you beat LSU. You didn't, the game was big, but it wasn't gigantic.
And you were an underdog, kind of, I guess, technically. All right, they were
favored. Yeah.
Excuse me. Maybe they were just lower ranked.
It basically ended up as a pick'em. But
okay.
I've got a security question.
Yeah.
National.
Yes. What are we going to do about China? No. By now everybody's seen the security guard who's just down there, just kind of. I mean, he's essentially a turnstile, but he's getting his. He's throwing some chip blocks.
He's got some pass pro going.
Yeah. Why, if your school is going to do that and you're going to allow that to happen and you're going to embrace it and lean into it, which I'm sure every school has done. Why not tell them just to stand down? Like, just watch to see if people like twist their ankle or break, when they jump down. Like, there's no point. There's no point in having them if that's something you're okay with as a school.
I totally agree. It's basically you should be playing prevent defense. If there's like a stampede or somebody falls and is about to be trampled, that's when you step in.
Yes.
But allow the kids to rush the field. It's a $100,000 check that every AD in the SEC wants to sign.
And like, if you, I don't know, I feel like you'd be better served like, hey, maybe I'll be looking out for like potential altercations with this team that just lost at the last second. Mm-hmm. They're probably not very happy.
And the guy was hurt. The guy who dropped the pass, like, has a knee or an ankle.
That's a bad look
in the end zone as people are basically stepping over him.
Yeah, that's a really bad look.
The cameras caught a couple people getting their attitudes readjusted by the players of both teams, protecting the guy that was on the ground. That was a tremendous effort by both teams to try to get that guy up.
Yeah.
I agree. You've got to turn into like crisis management if you're quote unquote security at these games. That is like assisting with anyone who might be injured from the fall off the wall, assisting with anyone who might be trampled, protecting not property per se, but like if it's Georgia and people are ripping up the hedges or completely tearing shit to pieces, like, maybe you're like singling out those individuals, or Tennessee and tearing down the field goal posts. Like maybe you're doing something to potentially stop that. And then in some form or fashion, forming a line to get the players the hell like off the sideline of both teams. I don't understand how it hasn't become a directive from the coaches or known from the teams that if fans rush the field, there are no post-game handshake, any of that bullshit. Anybody aside from the coaches, you get your butt to the locker room. It's like thunder, lightning, whatever, in the area. Everybody to the locker room. Like, get to the tunnel. Because we cannot afford to have a situation where someone swings a helmet at a student, rightfully so or wrongfully so, and kid ends up in the coma.
It's going to take
once that line gets crossed, like nobody's going to be in the right no matter what was said or what was done. They're not going to put up hockey glass.
Boards,
Like,
yeah.
Plexiglass.
You're right. It's going to take an incident before this is litigated on either side. Like, it's either you let it happen and protect everybody to the best extent, which is kind of the purveying wisdom, or you put the stands 9 feet above the ground and dare people to jump and break a leg.
Someone's going to get LeGarrette blunted, like legit.
Yeah.
And
or let's say missed field goal, and it's a field rush situation, an upset where team misses a field goal, but you've got somebody who's just bet a couple stacks on the team who missed the field goal to win. And yeah, we're all imagining bigger, larger D1 player, lineman, linebacker in our heads. And someone catches hot rod on the way off the field. Like, that's not going to be pretty. I'm not saying like he would be torn to pieces. There'd be enough people to protect him, but all it's going to take is one like sucker punch, shove in the back, something stupid to harm a player as well. Like, this ain't good.
yeah,
I agree.
I'm not saying don't rush the field, but like, to the point of security and what their job is, we at least got to have some publicized like positions on this.
Texas. Dylan wants us to talk Texas, and I want to talk Texas, frankly.
Okay, Dave, what do you need?
It's not a good Dylan.
I was trying to big text.
That was
State Fair this weekend.
That was down home, Dylan.
Yeah. Hey there, Dave.
Okay, I mean,
I'm not. Yeah,
It's not good either.
we'll work on it, or you'll work on it. I'm not going to work on it with you. Look, I saw. So Texas they're undefeated. They're going to Texas OU undefeated, highly ranked. I made a comparison this morning to TCU of last year in that they have played a lot of backup quarterbacks, which you still got to win those games, and TCU rode that to a national championship game, which
appearance
didn't go great. Didn't go great.
I mean, they won in the playoffs, regardless of
they did beat
they
Michigan.
won a playoff game.
They did. They lost to Kansas State in the Big 12 championship and then lost to Georgia in the championship. That's okay. Point is, Texas is so weird because there are times, mainly in the fourth quarter of these games, where they look so sick, but they kind of, I don't know if they come out slow, if they sleepwalk a little bit. They didn't against Baylor, but they did play Baylor's backup quarterback. They played Kansas's backup quarterback, Wyoming's backup quarterback.
Hard to say with Bama because they switched quarterbacks the next game, then went back to Milroe.
It's a great point. I still yeah.
I still think he's their best shot to win.
I do
games,
too.
So I don't think it counts, but there is instability at quarterback there.
Yeah, I guess I just I never really had put it together. I didn't realize until I turned this game on halfway through that what's my guy's name? Jalen Daniels wasn't playing.
Yeah, I don't think many people knew that unless you're probably following the Kansas beat heavy.
Back spasms.
Yeah, he had something tighten up on him prior to the game.
Oh,
And so and Kansas held it together with Texas, but I feel like that's kind of Kansas, like a Kansas Super Bowl game every year. That game never feels not close. Although it ended up not close, but at halftime it was close.
Yeah, 17 to or 7-13 at half.
Yeah.
Texas was controlling the game
control,
throughout.
yeah.
I think that Kansas's coach is smart enough to try to shorten the game. The score showed kind of the dominance.
Potential Michigan State hire there.
I did not have my eyes on the game live. I was just following the score on Saturday, and I did see that Jason Bean, quarterback for Kansas, was the one getting the stats. I did not know exactly why, and I thought it was a mid-game injury. So yeah, that it almost makes the game irrelevant to me. To David's point, OU's in no different position. I mean, granted, they played a full strength SMU. I think Cincinnati had some struggles, but like neither has played a team that's going to make really noise at the end of the year. It's just how the Big 12 schedules are. By the end of the year, they'll have plenty of tests. I was impressed to see that Quinn Ewers' track of not turning the ball over was so good. Unfortunately, that changed in the game, but still, I didn't realize he was taking care of the ball so much. If he can do that against Oklahoma, feel great about their prospects because Oklahoma's going to need those additional opportunities.
Yeah, we'll talk more about this Thursday, Texas OU.
Yes.
But Oklahoma's really weird. I don't think they're a good undefeated team. I don't believe in their coach. I definitely don't believe in their quarterback. So I
What
don't
about
know.
their OC?
Which the other OC, yeah, maybe his father-in-law will help out.
Shouts to Lebs.
Yeah, I don't know. Which all of that to say, this is like the perfect game for OU to like out of nowhere steal. This is like the script for Texas OU.
Absolutely. I mean, the OU has athletes. OU has guys. They have a good offense. Well, it has been good. I don't want to crown them good before they play anybody. But I think Texas handles this one.
I don't think it'll be like last year, but yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, last year
Got away from them.
BFing.
Yeah, straight up. Where do we want to go? I just want to give a shout out.
Go ahead.
I was going to shout out the Baylor Bears for just an inexplicable comeback at UCF. I don't know if anybody. I got so upset. I turned the game on. It was 21-0. I'm like, oh my God, he's done. And I went to the driving range as one will do before a golf trip weekend, and started getting texts from Dan. Shout out to Dan Register, UCF alum. He's like, dude, we're gonna blow this. And I mean, 29 unanswered points, biggest comeback in school history on the road. UCF had the ball, had that sick fourth down. Their quarterback is insanely fast. And I was like, oh, here we go. This is TCU Baylor all over again from last year. They're going to kick, field goal time expired. And the guy was like 20 yards short on the field goal attempt from 55. And that kid has the leg. So shout out to Baylor. Saved Mac Rhodes and Dave Aranda in a lot of people's eyes. But KJ, where were you going to go?
Sorry, I was going to touch base on the Georgia-Auburn game.
Yeah.
And then the Notre Dame Duke briefly, but I think it's, very generic opinion that Georgia's tight end could and should be a conversation for a Heisman candidate. Certainly will be a conversation for a top 10 pick. Bowers is legit, as you can see, at producing.
He's
from a
20
tight end position.
That kid's 20?
He's 20. Yeah.
He's my best tight end I've ever seen play college football. For me, it's Saquon Barkley, running back, Sam Bradford, quarterback, and Brock Bowers, tight end. Maybe Joe Burrow has something to say about that, but
I'll take Cedric Benson at running back. But
CB,
I don't have those off the top of my head right now. I'm just blown away by Bradford, and I don't think that you're wrong. I just
I didn't expect Bradford.
It wouldn't have been my pull.
Good pull.
Thanks.
Yeah, good pull. But Auburn had this they had an opportunity for a monumental upset, a game that they didn't play very well in. But I think it just continues the conversation of how good is Georgia actually, and this will get swept under the rug as the season goes on, because it won't matter if Auburn has 3 losses and Georgia remains undefeated. But I'm not seeing it quite yet. Briefly on Notre Dame, who, everyone ripped last week after their mental errors cost them the game against Ohio State. They just kind of hung in there against Duke. I don't know why I was eager to see Duke be a competitive football team, or what I was looking for in conference mate of SMU's. But it was an experience to see. It was very unfortunate to see their quarterback go down, which what we know now is a high ankle sprain. Nothing too detrimental, because I don't know if their coach is going to be around there long, but Duke looked interesting to watch as a football team, which was weird.
Has a high ankle sprain gotten better? Because I just know it from the Mavericks, from the Dirk days. Because a high ankle sprain for Dirk, it's that's 6 weeks at a minimum.
Absolutely. And Riley Leonard, the Duke quarterback, is pretty mobile too.
Yeah, that was the last play of the game too, right?
Last drive, I want to say.
Oh,
maybe
man.
last or next to last drive. There may have been a waste. Yeah, last drive, I want to say. They didn't even try to call timeouts in an effort to get the ball back, because after that injury, they probably could have gotten it back with 20 seconds, and I think Duke was just screw it. Let's call the game. And it was 3 or 4 point win. USC Colorado. Do we want to add to the pile that is already over talking Colorado? Any quick thoughts on that?
USC's defense can't stop a soul, though, and that's probably why, to me, they're not going to win the Natty.
Just like last year.
It's too porous. I mean, Colorado's playing without one of their studs, and they still put up 40-something. So the offense, I mean, the game never really felt in doubt, but it was far too easy to score on that USC defense.
Shout out to Colorado for any credit that Shadur Sanders gets, any credit that program gets for quote unquote being tough. They were absolutely embarrassed and expected to be embarrassed again next week. And they turned this into a winnable game, losing by 7 at the end. The worst clock management I've ever seen, by the way, by calling runs in a situation where you're not going to be able to stop the clock with only 2 timeouts. But their players were delivering and making plays and put themselves in a position to make it a 1-possession game. They just made some stupid decisions running the ball, basically depending on an onside kick, which you shouldn't do.
USC, they can beat anybody, but I don't think they're going to get that chance in a Natty game because they're just like you said, the defense is just it's inexplicable how they don't Lincoln. I'm trying to think Lincoln Riley at OU.
I mean, if the goal is to win by winning 50-45 every game, that seems to be the idea.
Yeah.
USC has Arizona before they have Notre Dame, Utah, I shouldn't say a break, but then Cal, but then Washington and Oregon back to back.
So
4 out of 5 games. They could drop all 4 of those if Cam Rising's back, without question. They could also win them if they had any defense.
I assume that Utah's holding Cam Rising. I think they thought they could sneak this one out.
Yeah. What's I mean, that Oregon State loss was weird. I know you're the resident Utah Ute, Dave.
The backup, Nate Johnson. He's they're not good. Yeah. They don't move the ball at all. And yeah, it was a 21-7 game. Their Utah's defense is legit.
Sure.
Those dudes play. But yeah, I mean, I know bringing up Jaquindon, but he's carried them to being 3-1 and didn't play this week against Oregon State. So, anyway, any other games of note? Oh, T-State, Texas State. Got to give a big shout out to our friends in San Marcos going to Southern Miss and they nearly coughed it up, but that's a young team right there.
Okay,
go out there, going to hit that over in the third quarter, and you're going to let them back into a little bit, but you're 3-1. And you're having a good time.
Fighting GJs.
We're either going to end up in Montgomery, the Mobile Bowl or whatever, or Bahamas Bowl. That's what the group texts are saying. And I will be at none of them because I'll have a baby boy.
It's true. Congratulations, Dave, on that announcement.
Thank you.
Wanted to say Washington looked a little vulnerable, sneaky with Arizona. And Oregon and Michigan might just be dominant teams.
Okay.
I don't know. We'll see. I think this is the time of year where it gets really interesting. Obviously, we're getting deeper into conference play. The matchups seem to be increasing in importance and decreasing in spread, if you will. So I'm excited, Dave.
I'm excited
Kentucky.
Too.
How about those Kentucky Wildcats running the ball all over the place on Florida?
Looking good.
Billy Napier looking hot.
Hey, can we kick off our NFL talk by talking with someone who might be the official sports betting partner of the NFL?
Sure.
Can I talk about our good friends at DraftKings? Guys, football's back in full swing with another week of epic games. Who's got you covered on the action for every single one of them? DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. New customers can bet $5 on football and get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Nobody's missing out on the action this season. All DraftKings customers can take advantage of 2 new offers every game this September. Get in on the NFL week. What week are we? Week 3? Week 4?
No, we just did week 4.
Week 4. Yeah, get in on week 5 with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the app now and use code WASHED, WASHED, to sign up. New customers can bet just $5 and take home $200 instantly in bonus bets. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code WASHED. The crown is yours. See show notes for details. Can we kick off by talking Rodney Harrison? Did you see this audio? Did you see the Rodney Harrison audio?
Yeah, I was going to say that's a weird question.
I saw the clip going
I saw the
around.
clip, yes.
Yeah, oh, sorry. That was a weird way to word that. Did you hear what I'm referencing?
Trying to goad a Jets player into saying Zach Wilson sucks.
Chris Jones. It was Chris Jones.
Chris Jones.
Yeah.
D lineman from Chiefs.
I'll just read I'll read real quick the transcript. He said, this is after the game. Was Zach better tonight than what you anticipated he would be watching on tape? You can be honest. And he has like that look of like, look, you know he sucks. This dude sucks.
Mm-hmm.
And Chris Jones, to his credit, said, honestly, if I'm being completely honest, we knew it was going to be a battle. He's continuing to get better week in, week out. He continues to lead week in, week out. Very, very like generic, but like I think that's the way you answer that question. And then you get Harrison responding with, but watching that tape, man, you've got to look at this dude and say, oh, he is garbage. We should really tear him apart. And to his credit, Chris Jones said, like I said, Zach Wilson is special, man. You got to just give the guy time. And I don't think anybody thinks Zach Wilson's special at this point, but that's okay. Rodney Harrison said, wait. Did you say Zach Wilson is special? I think he had a special night, but I don't think he's special. He's getting widely panned. I think Micah's doing his podcast, Micah Parsons. And I mean, this was a little bit aggressive.
First name Micah on this podcast and not like clearly state where you mean Parsons.
It's a great point. Micah's probably going to rip him too, though. Our Micah. What? This was not cool, right? Or am I a cuck?
Unacceptable. It's just not a way. It's just a bad interview, you know? If you're trying to have somebody tell you something, save that for your own like face up, like save it for your own monologue. If you really want to get on your soapbox about Zach Wilson, don't go to the D lineman of the other team to like co-sign that. That seems ridiculous. It's just a bad approach, bad question. He could have asked about the struggles of the Jets offense without Aaron. Well, even with Aaron Rodgers, because there's no evidence that it was more successful. Like he could have asked the same question and said, do you feel like you guys were expecting a threat out of this offense coming into this week?
Sure.
And it would have been laid at the feet of Nathaniel Hackett, as it should be, laid at the feet of Zach Wilson, as it probably could be in this situation. It's just unacceptable.
I weirdly was happy for them. I was pulling for the upset. I just was champing at the bit for headlines with Taylor and her A-listers up there in the suite watching as they lose to the effing Jets.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, they move the ball well. That is just a very unfortunate time to fumble and give the ball to Pat Mahomes in a tie game.
It's a little good on you, Zach Wilson, for not getting boat raced. There was a moment there where we were like, "Ooh, this is going to be 40-something to 2."
Yeah, it felt that way.
Did you get
good on Robert Saleh?
Yeah,
I would say like their defense. Everybody has said is legit. I think that's the one thing that Cowboys fans can hang their hat on for that game against them, against the Jets. That is, and I think this proves it. Like,
totally.
Yes, Pat Mahomes threw bad interceptions,
Dude.
but that's not just because Pat Mahomes, and like that's all Pat Mahomes. Like no credit to the defense. Like they gave the look, executed the play, disguised their assignments well enough, made the play on the ball, caught the interception. Like they're skilled throughout. It's not just this quarterback had a bad day, so no credit to this defense. Like I think the Jets are taking the steps forward that we all expected the franchise to. It's going to take any team's offense some time to recalibrate when you have quarterback lost.
How much of the Toy Story Jags game did you guys watch?
You don't have a friend in me, Dave, because I missed most of it.
That's good. That's good. Well, KJ, you'll never have a friend like me because I'm a genie in the bottle, baby.
Okay.
No, I did watch. I watched a lot of it, and I got my son to watch it for a minute. You know, he's a Toy Story guy.
Sure.
And I got to say, yes, it was glitchy, and people were like all ready to jump on it. But I was like, this is fucking cool. I don't really understand like how we're doing this. I don't really understand why we're doing this. Actually, I do, as my 2.5-year-old son's watching. But I thought it was good.
Bigger W by the NFL, getting children into the game or women into the game this year.
Dude, they're leaning into
It
the
was
Taylor
weird to
thing.
have those on the same day, huh?
It really was.
I'm not much of a conspiracy guy, KJ, but having Donna Kelsey with Taylor Swift's like hat on and the subsequent social handle change and just a lot going on for like, hey, Occam's razor, or Occam's taser in Dave's case. It's probably the NFL saying, if this is going to happen, we gotta just double down on this stuff.
Well, let's bring the State Farm guy in there. Let's do that activation.
How about State Farm dropping the bag for that one? Yeah.
Dude, this sucks. I mean, like,
my car insurance fucking premium has doubled for no reason.
fuck
And now
them,
I know.
dude.
Now I know the reason.
Fuck State Farm.
Unless they want to sponsor this show.
Is that a possibility?
Texas-based company.
Yeah.
Whatever that's worth.
I got like a number of friends who work for State Farm. Whatever.
I don't know. So I guess let's do the Taylor Swift thing first. I think it's just you would be dumb not to pile on. Like you'd be dumb not to participate in the Discord of this event, given that it's occurring. If it was naturally occurring, I don't necessarily think that it is. But then again, like 80% of celebrity relationships don't quote unquote naturally occur or some shit. Like there's always an ulterior motive. So I don't fault Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce, by way of Experian, Pfizer, or like whatever other commercials he seems to have gotten. Like it's just spiked how many commercials he's gotten. Chris Jones is in a couple now, like in the backup quarterback for the Chiefs is in one for Subway. Like
Andy Reid's getting a bunch of bags
Andy Reid's got another one. He's done well with his opportunities, I would say. But we've always had this. I think it might just be the piling on that seems somewhat new.
It's the pandering.
Every single outlet doing something, you're seeing it 10 times, even if they're commenting on it once. Growing up and living in Dallas, David, you and I have seen Jessica Simpson in the Cowboys box for several games when she was dating Tony Romo. Not the height of Taylor Swift whatsoever, but at that time, she was still a top 5 female pop star when, quote unquote, that meant something.
Sure. She's
so
trying to bust,
still
she's trying to
notable.
come.
Way before she was having to do things like Jewel
collabs, song swaps
exactly.
with Jewel.
She was doing feature films with Johnny Knoxville. She was respectable.
Yeah.
But we've seen this before is what I'm saying. It's just we haven't seen YouTube TV throw the Taylor Swift heart hands over the progress of the show monitor. We haven't seen like them come back from break every single opportunity playing a song or referencing her on the heels of like what was one of the most popular concert events in like the last decade. So it's just a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
And none of it is her fault or his fault. It's just when I see like Mike Florio giving takes or like doing references, I'm like, all right.
Scott Hansen can't help himself.
He was built for that. And you know what? I give him a pass because I genuinely kind of tune him out when it comes to red zone. But I mean, the guy fucking swam in the Ganges.
And he's got to fill 6 or 7 hours. Like you've got to load that fucking hopper. He's
been on the Serengeti, Dave.
That's true, man. The fucking news was going to be there.
He did brotherly shove about 30 times yesterday. And that I'm all set with that one after one day.
My quick thoughts on Toy Story real quick, and then to be redundant. I experienced the technical difficulties. I was trying not to like search them out online and see if anybody else was watching it go poorly. As the minority, speaking of Jaguars fandom, was eager to watch the game for the actual performance. Like I was both excited to be able to watch my team and a little bit like frustrated because I kind of wanted to watch my team. So if this had been something on like an alternate channel, as Nickelodeon did when they had this opportunity, where I could flip back and forth, hey, they're having technical difficulties, let me go ahead and switch over to the regular production. I would have been way less frustrated because I was having to switch in and out of the ESPN Plus app,
It's
the Disney Plus app.
Yeah.
back to live TV to check in on the Ryder Cup.
Sports
I
guy.
was doing way too many things at 8:30 in the morning, but my 3-year-old was as engaged and interested in whatever the hell was going on the television as ever. And I definitely tip the cap to them for trying something that I don't understand how it happened. And they completely did their own thing. I think the Nickelodeon presentation was savvy. They did a great job with it. So I can see wanting to like do more of that. But the approach that ESPN took here, I don't think anybody expected. And I'm sure it was way more difficult than any of us imagined. And what they did with it, like, was good enough to be the first step.
Sure. Cosign.
Concur.
Only other notes, Cowboys defense still really good. Well, I guess we'll find out against San Francisco.
Patriots.
They are fucking
Oof,
ass.
oof.
I thought they
And
might
had
be able
some
to run.
injuries too.
They do, but man, does Belichick kind of just like look? I mean, when you've had the cream of the crop for so long, you just kind of like, fuck, what are we doing here? Like, I'm kind of fucking tired of this.
Benched Mac Jones.
Zappy hour.
Zappy hour. That's one of the.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say it's that game. If you're like an actual Cowboy fan and you're like trying to really see if the offense got better, it's a little bit tough to tell because when you had the defense doing that, they did look good and the Cowboys did not turn the ball over, right? So whatever, that's cool. But I mean, again, they're going into San Francisco for Sunday Night Football and
Cannot wait for that game.
it's gonna be fun. San Francisco still looks like they are the best team in the NFC.
Yeah, I
I'd
don't
like
disagree.
to quickly fall on. You know what? I might have been wrong about what Zeke was going to do this year.
Man, yeah, that was a nice video tribute. I thought maybe, yeah.
If ever there
Yeah.
was a time that he was going to get some juice or show some opportunity to succeed, like they have no passing game, they have no line. There's no chance for him to succeed. Even if he's got something in the tank, which it's not evident that he does. It was dumb of me to expect success given that there was nobody around to support that.
Double-digit touchdowns, I believe, was KJ's.
Something
We're only
like
double
that,
digits
yeah.
away from me being right.
That's
I was
fair.
gonna, yeah, it's
in
not
play.
over yet. Yeah.
It's in play. You never know, man.
Can I mention 2 games, Dave?
Yeah, real quick. Then we got to talk baseball.
Go Bills. I think by far the best looking AFC team at the moment after stymieing the vaunted Dolphins offense.
Okay.
And 2, are the Chicago Bears the biggest dumpster fire of the past decade?
He's getting the mic.
Wouldn't know because I stopped watching.
Oh no!
Genuinely,
you're the
but
worst.
I think
boo.
I said on this podcast that they will not win a game, and I think that might be right.
Dude, Fields looked really good
For a
lot of
while.
that
He was
game.
24 of 25, and Mercedes Lewis was catching passes out there. I mean,
Dude,
UCLA
the
great.
fact that he caught a pass, I was like, I thought he was in like the league in 2007, and he was.
Justin Fields needs a change of scenery player of the week.
Ooh.
1000%.
Like, go put him in. There's I don't know.
New
Insert
York?
Arizona.
Ooh, the Jets.
New England.
Oh no, not Arizona. Arizona. Yeah, I don't know. There's a number of places where I think he can work. I still think he's a good quarterback, but that'll never come back to haunt me.
To have what could be one of the more interesting drafts next year with potentially the number 1 and number 2 picks, because they have Carolina's pick. Interested to
shit.
see how it goes, but
Oh, they'll blow it.
yeah, it doesn't look. I mean,
They'll package.
it's Caleb Williams, right?
Yeah, if he's there, they got to take Caleb
I think
Williams.
you have to.
Yeah.
Got
What was your other game?
Oh, the Bills. Just
The Bills and the
go
Bears.
Bills.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
Bills.
yeah.
Bills.
Got it,
Look,
got it.
Bills have had 2 very good efforts, and after the first week of the season, it feels like they're kind of hitting a stride.
Sorry about that.
Bengals suck.
It's October. Baseball season still, and man, get the joy of some cool 2:30 wild card action tomorrow. I'm really excited. No, I hate watching playoff baseball during the day. And the Rangers, since they were unable to overcome a 1-0 deficit yesterday when they could have locked down the AL West. They will go to Tampa for a 3-game set against the Rays. 2:08 tomorrow, 2:08 Central on ABC. How much baseball are you watching on ABC?
I don't even who are the announcers for that?
I'm very confused, and maybe that's just
ESPN, I guess.
They have to be,
yeah.
right?
It's weird. Look,
Give me K-Rod.
You want to hear our sponsor lineup, Dave? Wildcard, Hankook Tires got that one.
huge.
Booking.com got the divisional series.
Get the bag.
Loan Depot with the ALCS.
Good. I need a loan.
And Capital One got the World Series.
Ooh, I'm wilding like
MLB
Capital
went-
One. What is in your wallet?
MLB went college football with their playoffs.
They made everything like a bowl game. I am glad.
the
I
Adobe
have to-
postseason picture.
Oh God, I have to
hate it.
say, I love that they did away with the 1-game wild card situation.
Great news.
have to get
That stunk.
It's been a couple of years now, but like they had to get that out of the game. At least a 3-game set allows you to prove yourself twice.
Regarding the Rangers, I might be in the minority here of Rangers fans. I don't think that I am, but I am absolutely just happy they got in the playoffs. I really am. They lost 100 games last year. They won 90 games this year. Yes, they blew a 2.5-game lead with like 10 to play, but it's the Astros, the defending champs. Like they were the odds-on favorite by a mile to win the division. And it's funny, I don't know. Houston, a lot of like the Houston beat reporter, Brian McTaggart, who's like he's being very critical of the Rangers for celebrating in the locker room. And I think people have this like idea that the Rangers just stayed up and raged all night when it's very clear, like per anyone around the team, like, no, dude, they actually went to the other room and watched the end of the Astros Diamondbacks game. Like they weren't, they were celebrating, getting into the playoffs.
And then it was done.
Haven't been in the playoffs since 2016. I'm happy with it. I think they've got a real shot to win too, but then you got to go up through Baltimore, who gets a bye. And then you've got Astros get the bye with that win. I don't know, man. It's going to be really fun.
October,
Looking at the bracket. Yeah.
best sports month of the year, especially when you had some major championship-ish golf to kick it off.
Blue
I like
Jays
that.
Twins.
How
Blue
about-
Jays Twins is fun too.
Orioles is such a fun story. I mean, you have fun stories all over. You have Atlanta who could just juggernaut their way through this.
Yeah.
You can never count the Dodgers out. Houston, same exact thing. You have guys in Toronto. That's a diehard baseball town outside of the hockey world. Like people love the Blue Jays in Toronto. So fun playoffs coming up, Dave and KJ.
Yeah, I would know as the Brew Crew is also present in this playoff picture.
Very true.
Day
and,
one.
quote unquote, we will be taking.
You need to get
on
the
D-backs.
Can you get the hat with the mitt?
That's such a sick.
It's
Yes,
iconic.
It is
It's
a great logo.
It's a great one. And if you got it, I would not make fun of you.
It reminds me of
It is a great logo.
remember the ice cream pops
Yes.
baseball ones.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Orioles missing their best reliever makes me a little bit more optimistic that if the Rangers bats can do anything in the first series, maybe catch me eager to see them facing the Blue Jays in the ALCS. Braves, we've said it a lot all year. They've been an exciting team to follow. Wiser minds than me might say some rotation questions, but the Dodgers just aren't as complete as they've been in the past. They've got a lot of talent, but give me Braves and Blue Jays Rangers winner in the World Series. Locking it in. Mr. 10 touchdown Zeke Elliott. Is saying, follow this prediction.
I like that. I guess while we're talking baseball, rest in peace, Tim Wakefield.
Yeah, really, really sad.
The great Tim Wakefield. Noted
Damn it.
knuckleballer. Dude, we were talking earlier about knuckleballs. That's what we do. Because, he passed away. That's what he's known for. Seeing knuckleballs on the timeline, I will watch it every time. You show me a good knuckleball vid, I'm watching it. Slow it down. Now we got like the dope cameras. I love it.
For a time, so a sophomore in high school, I got shoulder surgery on my non-throwing shoulder, Dave. I was very limited in what I could do at baseball practice that year. So I was in a sling for 6 months. Got my knuckleball dialed in that time where I could really only throw and not catch. I would like to go to the ballpark with you, throw some nuts your way.
Oh, okay.
If you're in for that,
I'll take some BP.
I want to get the knuckleball back involved. Maybe get a current MLB baseball player involved. I don't know. I want to bring the nut back.
Oh, dude, if you're referencing who I think you're referencing, the guy who put up 30 bombs this year.
Yeah, he did.
Absolutely, dude, he's taking you. His exit velo is like 130 off you.
His exit velos, his numbers are he's in like the 95th percentile exit velo and like barrel percentage. I want to sneak a nut by him.
All I'm asking is that if this is done, which odds are that it probably is not like contractually okay on his end.
They can practice.
If this is done, we do it somewhere where you actually have a fence or pitching guard.
Oh,
because we cannot have Brett taking one off the cheek.
L screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the Derby. They still do that, right? In the home run Derby.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Shout out Brent Rooker.
My what's the opposite of exit? My entrance velo was never very good, Dave.
I don't know if I like that term.
Just like my pitching velocity.
Yeah, that's a different way.
Entrance velo.
Yeah, we're not doing entrance velo. The fuck? Okay.
Rusted.
Dame's on the Bucks now. He got traded. That's fucking killer.
Whoa. Time out and back up. Blockbuster NBA trade.
Yeah.
It deserves some enthusiasm.
It's a great trade. It makes sense for the Bucks. It makes all the sense in the world. Ayton ends up in Portland. It looks like Drew Holiday is going to be
Boston.
That's right. I like Drew Holiday a lot. He's 33, but whatever. That makes
one of the Holiday Bros.
That gets
also
him.
Husband of Lauren Holiday, U.S. national team soccer player.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Oh, very cool. It's a fun
That's
fact.
a cool thing these days.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else? You want to run it back? That was our sports party.
No.
I just didn't.
Just tremendous trade. I'm excited to have Dame in town.
Man, you picked the right time to move up there.
I've done a lot for this state, and one of the worst things is apparently bringing Tanner Mordecai. But other than that, like I've done some pretty good things.
Brett, run it back for us.
Yeah, this is Run It Back, the segment where we talk about what we've already talked about. KJ is on planes, trains, and automobiles watch next week.
Fact.
KJ is also not huge on doxing. Shouts to intern Adam for mixing up Alvin Kamara and Pete Golding. Tough to do. Also shouts to Baylor Bears, Dave, for the comeback.
Sick 'em.
Is Duke a football school? KJ's keeping an eye out. Dirk gets a high ankle, 6-week minimum. According to Dave. Billy Napier might be on the hot seat, according to Brett. Say, Dave mentioned Jaquindon again. We need a bell for that, much like the Joe Rogan, not Joe Rogan.
It was a Rogan bell.
Yeah, it was a Rogan bell. Dave played everyone's favorite game, Not Cool, Right? Or Am I a Cuck? With Chris Jones and Rodney Harrison. Road's rough. Toy Story guy. Fuck State Farm, tentatively, for raising Brett's premium without reason. KJ and Dave have seen plenty of Jessica's box on TV during Dallas games.
That is such a reach.
Okay.
KJ might have been wrong on Zeke this year. Dave famously out on Brian McTaggart. KJ?
Retire.
Longtime Brewers fan, buying a hat in the near future. And finally, we're not doing entrance velo.
Thank you, KJ. Thank you, Brett, for filling in. Dylan, I hope
tremendous
you're feeling
time.
Always a blast.
Thanks, good vibes as it is OU Texas week. We're all looking forward to speaking with Eddie Radosevich Thursday night, 6:30 p.m. Be on the lookout for the link to participate in Dip Picks.
Yep. Go subscribe to our YouTube page. Too Much Dip on YouTube. That's where the stream goes down. Bye-bye.
Go Rips.
Chips with the dip. That's all I know. I don't want my chips plain. I want my chips with the dip. So bring them dips.
When my team wins a big game, it's good. But when my team doesn't win the big game, you better look out, Buster. I'm a loose cannon.